Hey everybody, Chuck Barone here on this very special show with our guest, Jordan Dove, my good friend and business partner. We've done a lot of real estate deals together, millions and millions of dollars worth, and we're going to do this show today to bring you guys up to date on the state of real estate in the country and what you guys can expect going forward. So welcome, Jordan. Nice to have you. We've been talking about doing this for a while. It's good to finally get it going.
Yeah, Chuck, it's a real pleasure, a privilege and an honor to be here and doing this with you. We have talked about it for quite some time now. And, you know, I am really glad that you started doing your show because I've been fortunate enough to sit here every day and listen to him, his mouth to my ear, every day and just get some great information, some wisdom, knowledge, experience, and I've been able to apply a lot of what I've learned from Chuck with my clients, with my family, with my friends, and he's a really sharp guy and I'm really privileged to have that opportunity to be his business partner, do a lot of deals together. Chuck's the mortgage broker, he does the loans and the financing, he's the money guy. I'm a realtor, I'm a licensed agent with the team here in Las Vegas, and we help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate.
That's what we do. Now, to get the show started, what I thought what we would do is just talk about the last frenzy we've gone through for about the last year and a half or 2 years. Yeah. I want to ask Jordan to give a little bit of a description of what he saw in the market and some of the lunacy. You've heard me complaining about it on the show for a while now. So Jordan, give our audience here just an idea of what the market's been like here in Vegas over the past couple of years.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, Chuck, you've been doing this decades. You've seen markets come and go, ups and downs, sellers markets, buyers markets. And I think you would agree that the last 2 years we have seen in this market has been the craziest sellers market I've ever seen in the business of 8 years, and probably I think what you've ever seen as well, right?
I got to say, I've never seen, doing loans here in Vegas since 1995, I've never seen it where buyers were willing to pay more than $50,000 over the house's value. So it was a frenzy like I've never seen before, and honestly, I hope we never see again because it was really a serious disadvantage to a lot of these first-time buyers who are desperate to get into the market before they were priced out, and now got to live with paying so much more than appraised value, especially with prices starting to come down. Anyway, back to Jordan's narrative on the market for the past couple of years.
Yeah, so the past couple of years, we saw some crazy things, guys. We had a lot of listings on our team, and it was really fun to be a seller's agent. If you were a seller, it was a great time to be alive and sell a house, right? And on these listings, we were receiving, I'll take one, for example, that sold this last February. We listed it at $400,000. It sold for $460,000. We received 42 offers on that property. 42 offers, and it started from $415,000 to $420,000 and just drove all the way up. The clients were really, really happy. It was a crazy bidding war. Having to present 42 offers to a client takes quite some time. Not one offer was below list price. There's actually kind of a joke that went around that if you offered list price, that was considered a lowball offer in the market over the last 2 years. And buyers were competing with private equity and hedge funds and what I believe to be foreign investment syndicates, buying up neighborhoods, buying every property they could, selling those properties at higher levels, and then continuing to rinse and repeat over the last 2 years, which just sent prices skyrocketing.
I just want to add in, you know, we saw this new thing in the market where everybody was going to now be a house flipper, right? So it reminded me a little of the .com boom back in around 2000 where everybody was going to quit their job and become a day trader. Remember those days, guys? Well, now the new sensation was going to be, I'm going to be a professional house flipper. And of course, with 27, 50, 100 TV shows about how to flip houses in every different city in the country.
They make it look so easy.
They made everybody believe it was this thing. And now I got a feeling that there's a lot of people who are in this flipping thing late in the market and are now sitting on houses that they thought they were going to already roll over for big profits, and now are wondering what the heck they're going to do. Do they rent them out? Do they cut prices? How much of a loss can they bear? The market was it was lunacy is the way I would describe it.
Yeah, and we're seeing that with Open Door. If you're familiar with Open Door, they buy houses, they charge a lot of fees, but they say it's quick. You end up paying actually more to Open Door to sell your house than using an agent because they beat you up on the repair process. They said, hey, we need to repaint, we need new carpet, we're going to resurface the pool. It ends up being some upwards of 10, 15, 20% the value of the home. They are liquidating everything they have right now. People aren't buying them. I was just looking at a listing today that a buyer came across, and they said that they'll pay 3% commission plus a $3,500 bonus if they can close by the end of September. They're trying to liquidate everything, and just like the new home builders, they're offering these crazy incentives to try to get buyers to buy these properties. It's really interesting what's going on in the market.
Well, that's kind of a crazy phenomenon too, how quickly it went from the seller has all the advantage and people are paying way above appraised value to now the buyers have all the advantage and it's the sellers making the concessions, cutting prices, paying closing costs, new home people putting in the granite countertops and all of the the appliances and stuff like that. So the market really, it was just like as soon as the Fed made their change on interest rates, the market literally changed overnight from a seller's market to a buyer's market, and now it's only moving more and more and more to the benefit of the buyer. I think as prices come down, depending on what things happen with the Federal Reserve and interest rates, as prices come down, there's going to finally be some opportunities for these young couples, first-time home buyers to get into this market. Now, where are we now, though, Jordan? I mean, what's happening in the market today? What can buyers and sellers expect?
Yeah, so great question. The market definitely has shifted. I believe it's a buyer's market now because sellers are giving those incentives to buyers to be able to purchase that home. So we're seeing properties sit on the market much longer. In our market, I know nationally they're saying 14 days right now national, which would still sound like a seller's market. But we know that in real estate, the data that we get is lagging. It's from the past. What we're seeing right now is homes are sitting in Las Vegas anyway, on the market longer. 2,000 price reductions a week. Sellers are offering concessions in the form of seller credits to buy down their rate, so maybe their payments can be more affordable. They're also doing repairs on homes again. They're giving credits for those repairs. Before, people would buy it as is, waive the inspections. Now buyers, go get those inspections. You should never waive one anyway, but get the inspection, get the report back, have your agent ask for everything to get repaired or get a substantial credit for that so you can get that fixed once that home is yours. So if you're a seller, the good news is the market's still up from what it was pre-COVID, but we are seeing those numbers start to decline as properties sit on the market longer. We have way more inventory. I believe back in May, we had 3,200 single-family homes on the market, and that is not just single-family condos, townhomes, and multifamily and high-rises. Now we have about 11,000. That's just from May until now. So we've almost quadrupled in just a very short period of time. So buyers do have more choices. Buyers are thinking twice about, what should I pay for this home? And sellers are starting to come down to reality, and we're seeing those 2,000 price reductions a week. So I think there is going to be some opportunities for buyers. We just need that affordability that you talk about a lot. And what is that? What can people afford per month? And I think we're in consensus that it's about $2,000 for a mortgage.
$2,000 to $2,500 roughly to qualify by the guidelines in a conventional loan.
And I just ran the numbers today on a condo with 10% down, which is the minimum for this condo that you need to put down to finance on it, at $280,000 at a 5.5% rate. That payment with the HOA of $195 is about $1,950 a month.
That's something that's even though in my mind, I'm old, sorry, when I think of house payments, I hate hearing numbers close to 2,000, but I guess in the world we're living in today, a number under 2,000 for a decent place to live that's not 50, 60 years old and in need of a ton of repairs. That's a payment that most young couples and starter people are accustomed to and comfortable with. So the world changes even though old guys sometimes don't.
Yeah, no, so the market's really shifted. It's if you're in the market to buy, make sure you ask for those concessions, ask for closing costs, have the seller pay for the best home warranty that's out there, get the pool covered, get the HVAC system covered, get all the appliances covered, get all the upgrades that's covered in a home warranty. The seller will pay for that, and ask your agent or ask me, ask someone on our team, we'll be able to negotiate that into the contract and get you that money for closing. But I still think there's going to be great opportunities because I believe, in my opinion, that the median prices are going to continue to decline, and sellers are going to start getting in trouble a little bit, maybe financially or because the economy is changing. They're going to want to sell, and they'll be willing to give away whatever they can to be able to walk away with some money when it's all said and done. And I think that's when it's going to be the best opportunity to buy that we've seen in years.
It's really an interesting phenomenon right now where, you know, it's been a seller's market for a while, and that's kind of got ingrained in people's mind that that's the way the market is. So sellers are reluctant to lower their costs, but what's happening is they're expecting their house literally to sell overnight. Like Jordan was saying, 42 offers on a house, and It didn't take him months to get those offers, okay? It was literally over a weekend.
It was.
And now, you know, a person will list their house and there's literally no activity at all for 30, 60, 90 days.
Right.
So the reality is they're starting to set in. We're seeing the length of time on the market, at least here in Las Vegas, longer and longer. And we're seeing now price reductions coming down where it went from a peaking of 482 down to what Jordan was telling me on the MLS now is about 450. And we believe that, you know, you've heard me say it on the show that when you have rates and prices and they're not matching, where payments don't work, one of two things has to happen. Either rates have to go down to accommodate higher prices, or prices have to go down to accommodate higher rates.
Right.
You know, I really believe that in the inflationary environment we're in now, rates are going to stay elevated for a little while, at least above 5%, meaning, you know, that's not historically elevated, but according to recent history it is. And I think prices are going to have to come down to meet that. What do you see happening with prices over the next, you know, before the end of the year, Jordan? Where do you think we'll end the year at?
Well, looking at new construction, what they're doing right now, these builders, and as you talked about in your show the other day, single-family building permits are down substantially year over year. Las Vegas is actually extremely high on that list in terms of percentages of permits were coming down, and they're not doing it. 460 some compared to the year before. There was over 1,400 the same month, and those home builders are now offering the incentives, including those upgrades like you were talking about, but now they've reduced their prices. Their median prices that they're now asking for new homes, $400,000 is what they're now asking, because they know what's coming. And this is the first time that I can remember that new construction is actually cheaper than resale homes in the market with that 450 median right now.
Well,
we
yeah.
haven't seen that in a long time.
Right, because ordinarily new construction, the cost of it, because the land prices go up so much over the years, new houses were about $30,000 to $50,000 higher here in Las Vegas than existing houses were.
Right.
Now that seems to be kind of reversing itself as these builders want to get out from underneath this inventory.
Correct.
To them, it's all about turning that money over. Even if they don't make the profits they were assuming, they have to turn that money over to move on to their next project and keep their financiers happy. So I agree with Jordan on that. I think prices are going to continue to come down this year. Obviously, the big wild card is the Federal Reserve and what happens with the economy. If there's a big economic collapse and the Fed is forced to start cutting rates and they're just ignoring inflation, then I believe that, you know, that all bets are off. But if the Fed continues on the pace they are and keeping rates elevated, I believe we're going to continue to see prices come down until the market again has enough buyers in the market where we find that balance between buyers and sellers. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree with that, Chuck. And, you know, I think we've talked about it before. We've seen the research and the data that the hedge funds are building up war chests to do this all over again. And I think once the average home buyer like myself and those first-time home buyers come back into the market and start shopping again, I think that's when they're going to jump back in, because they can't keep competing against themselves to drive up prices. They need that regular American to go home and go and purchase those homes, and then they'll help drive those up again. So I think we'll see this cycle happen again. When does it bottom? When do they start doing that? I don't know, but I'd have to agree with you in terms of it has to start being affordable. So those prices have to come down with those elevated rates, and then when they start meeting that criteria and it starts picking back up again, I think that's when these hedge funds will jump back in.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you taking the time to support the videos and the show. Jordan and I have been talking about doing these videos for a while. So in the comments section, if this is something you guys would appreciate seeing more of, maybe we can get together once a month or
Great.
Whatever you guys think would be suitable to keep you guys posted on what's happening real estate wise. Let us know in the comments. And in the meantime, we really appreciate the support, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Chuck, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always, man.
We'll
Thanks.
Talk soon. Bye.